where people would subscribe and say that the country was more wholesome. I used to laugh when, my parents would put on music from the 1960s and they said, things like my grandfather would say, that was music, that was the good old days. But, I think there's something to be said. There was a different feeling to this country. Things were different back then.
Well, what you've got to realize, and people don't know this today, that back in World War II, everybody sacrificed for the nation. Everybody gave their all for the nation. You could not buy as much gasoline as you wanted. You could not buy as much sugar or meat or anything. Many of those things were highly rationed. That's why you had what they called a victory garden. You grew your own vegetables. And my parents, even into the 80s, were still growing their own tomatoes, still growing their own vegetables in the backyard, and I would go, why do you do that? And I didn't really realize why they were doing that until I started listening to these shows and hearing about, buy more savings bonds, help the nation, help fund this war. And, you would hear the messages about the stamps and, here's what you have to do and this and ration this and ration that. And we don't realize today how many sacrifices were made for World War II.
Yeah, the greatest generation.
If you go back and I think if we had a serious combat situation today where we had to have even half of the rationing that they had in the lightest part of World War II, there would be open revolt in the nation because people don't care about this country. People don't care about anything but themselves.
Not that way. That
is part of the biggest problem today. And that's why the Trump victory is so amazing, because it shows that these people are fed up of being told what to think.
That's it. And they're getting smarter to the so-called mainstream media, NBC, CBS, and, Walter Cronkite and people like that of that guild. That's not their agenda anymore. Even, the AP's changed, or, they put their spin on things. It's hard these days. And I liked when you reported the news, is to have straight news where there's commentary. There's people that pontificate about things, where you're a commentator and things. And that's one thing. We have your opinion, where I'm gifted, where I can just take a story and I can look at it at different views, or it's just who, what, why, where, and when. This is what happened. This is what we know. And there is the story.
And that is the hard part today, is to really be able to be straight down the middle on something. It's very, very difficult because people have become so polarized. Not just the news. People always say radio is too polarized. Well, people are too polarized. People have pulled very hard to the right and the left, and when you try to walk down the middle, that's difficult. I mean, even when I did my commentaries, I tried to tread very lightly at that time. And the amazing part is today, if I was to do what I did back then, people would think that I was, the conservatives would think I'm too liberal, the liberals would think I'm too conservative. That's what I always said, is that the way liberals and conservatives view the First and Second Amendments, the First Amendment, if the conservatives view the First Amendment the same way liberals view the Second Amendment, conservatives would think that, there's no issue in the world with saying anything. Liberals would think that there has to be mandatory licensing of speech.
All right, Wyatt Cox, we got to say goodbye, but where can we listen to your radio show?
You can find us on Facebook. You can search you can search Classic Radio Theater there, and you can find us online through usaradio.com. Our show airs live midnight to 3, 7 nights a week.
Excellent. We'll be listening, and I know I'll be listening a lot more as well. And would you come back on when we get some more time?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Class act, Wyatt Cox. Pleasure to have you on the airwaves today.
Take care, Keith. All the best.
All right, folks. Here's a guy that has a mind like an encyclopedia, too. How do these people do it? I have to actually read books, and I have to have notes in front of me. Wyatt, no notes. Well, maybe he did have them, but he doesn't show them. Folks, we're 100% listener-supported. Your donations make a big difference each and every day. Keith Allen saying all the best. May God bless.